This is the Levels Network. I'm Justin Horo, joined by the Triple OG, Willie Mason. OG, it is round 18 preview time, mate. That is crazy. We say it all the time. The year flows quickly, and we're deep into the season. But it's not until you read that out, round 18, that you think.
But when we're reviewing the year, right, or previewing whatever, every team and all that kind of stuff, our top 8, all that. That was in February, January, February. We'll get a good gauge on it around 10 to 12.
Yeah,
that's gone.
That's gone. Well and truly
gone. Our
Origin
teams, that's nearly gone, and it's a lesson for just say a team like South Sydney, Parramatta. Right? They've got top 8 rosters, and they've just gotten into these little ruts where they've dropped 4, 5, 6 games in a row, and then they're trying to fight back right now. So it's just it's a lesson learned. You've got to play every game like it's your last. So you're going to have guys on the different spectrum, right? You're going to have a junior Paulo who's probably the back end of his career, Reg, back end of his career.
Yep.
Blaze Talangi, first year in the game.
Yeah.
Does he he's just sort of enjoying the ride and see how far it goes, and then these other guys want to win because they haven't won a grand final. Even South Sydney, you know what I mean? They've been together for so many years, prelim after prelim, and then top 4s and grand final, still haven't won.
Yeah.
Young kid who's debuting. The other guys have been there for a while.
Happy to be there, right? So some of those guys.
Time runs out quick.
It does.
And it's and a lot of coaches try and preach, and a lot of senior players try and preach to the younger kids fuck, you got to play every game like it's your last. Everything's all about moments and owning your moment and doing the little things and going on a bit of a run, trying to jag some wins between Origin. That's where they are now.
Yep.
That's where most clubs are. Hopefully these guys are stacked full of Origin players that play Brisbane, and then you can get a couple of wins. And easier said than done because a lot of teams have got fucking some proper dogs in their team.
It's the beauty of the Storm culture. The more you speak about it, right?
Yes.
Look at their team and on paper. The results that they're getting at the moment. This
is not just this year. This is 20 years. This year.
20 plus years. That's where it shows exactly how you started then.
Yeah.
About how important and narrowing the focus is. That's one thing I wish I was better at during my career. I was one of those guys. For a lot of the time, I was happy to be there. I was happy to be a first grader, especially when I got into a good team. Now I look back, regret's probably not the right word, but I could have definitely done a lot better. It's the same thing with that critic clip that we did and talked about his maturity at his level. It makes me appreciate those sorts of people even more so.
Yeah, but you probably come up in the system with Parramatta, right? Heine was probably the OG there.
Yep, Heine, Nath, Birdie.
All trying to win a premiership. And it's up to the older guys to really school the younger kids on how important it is, and be in the moment all the time, be present at training, enjoying everything, because this shit doesn't last forever. People think this lasts forever.
Yeah, it goes quick, mate.
It goes quick. You know what I mean? I'm 44 years old now. So you just got to, it's up to the senior playing group. And I think Melbourne has really nailed that because of the culture, first of all, and the coach and the senior players they got there. They drive it. It's all player driven down there.
Yeah.
And that's what the difference is between Melbourne and the Titans, West Tigers, all these sort of other clubs.
A lot of clubs.
A lot of other clubs.
Yeah.
Fucking probably another 14 of them.
You could argue probably just at the moment now the Panthers are creating something special there, but they didn't have that for the period that Penrith have. Roosters have had it, passing on. They've always had OGs that have been at the club with success that have been able to pass it on down.
But there's a level of expectation when you wear a Storm jersey and a Roosters jersey and now Penrith jersey, Bulldogs jerseys. Yep. Every team, you've really
Bulldogs are relearning it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say Bulldogs are there yet, but
they're not there yet. They're not there yet, but they're understanding the history of the club because Ciro and Gus drive it into them, where we're from, how it started, called the Berries and all that kind of stuff, and the amount of great players that come through this club. The players start to understand. So when the players start to buy in,
pardon me,
when they buy in, then everything comes together. They start being a lot more connected, enjoying each other's company, building that brotherhood. You can't just manufacture it. You got to build it.
No, you have to build it.
You got to build it. You got to come. You got to have some young kids coming up through the system. You can cherry pick a couple of great players that'll fit your system. The Burtons, the Kick-Owls, the Critters, the Foxes. Then add around it.
Yeah.
And then just put a lot of money into pathways, and hopefully, we can just grow. And that's what a lot of clubs are doing. Penrith are just blessed, and they've hit the jackpot out there. Because their pathways, they started that pathway stuff, right?
Yeah.
put a lot of energy and a lot of money into it. They built that centre of excellence out there, so they didn't have to train in like the old facilities. Everyone wants to be a Penrith Panther. Before, you probably get to 19, 20, 21, you steal a Wade Graham, you do, you know what I mean? Like all their best sort of juniors, Luke Lewis and, you know what I mean? So,
Michael Jennings got he played 3 or 4 years, but like realistically, if Penrith are Penrith now, he doesn't leave.
No.
Well, he doesn't want to leave, but Gus, you know, they looked at the squad back then. It's a good point you bring up.
And a lot of like guys like Critter and Kicks and Birdo, they sort of got nearly forced out because of the salary cap.
Well, and now they're creating pathways now at the Bulldogs, right? Yeah. So I was thinking about that as you were talking about it. Penrith you're not going to be able to keep everyone. Melbourne weren't able to keep guys that would have been like Greg Inglis stands out at Melbourne Storm, like the culture that he built at South Sydney by probably a lot of the stuff that he learnt with Melbourne. And a guy like Adam Blair, who would have been a strong part of like what they were doing at Melbourne. Hoffman. They weren't able to keep them. Hoffy tried to build that. Widdop, you know, like we've got all these sorts of players that.
Tohu Harris is doing it now.
Yeah. Tohu Harris is a strong leader at the Warriors, and I look back and like I said, you're not able to keep all of them, but there's something special happening at Penrith that's very similar to, or can be as potentially successful as Melbourne in a long period of time at Penrith.
It looks like they do it. This is 5 years now. At the top. 5 grand finals. Yeah, if they get this right.
And you've got to keep your core. And that's not always easy. Identifying who your core is, like. Letting go of a guy like Stephen Crichton now.
Letting go of a guy called Appy Coruscant.
Yeah.
Knowing that you got this little killer in the back, Mitch Kenny. But no one knew he was going to be that good, but they did. Yeah. They did.
Yeah. Yeah, they see it week in, week out, day in, day out. So
putting that energy into a Leota, because apparently like when he was coming through the system, he wasn't fit enough. He was just he wasn't ticking all the boxes. Ciro helped him defensively, the detail, everything. He could always run hard and hit hard. A lot of Polynesian brothers can do that. Easy. It's the detail in defence. It's the fitness level. So, like, put a lot of time into Fisher Harris, Yowie, and Leota. Now, and Liam Martin. None of these guys were on anyone's sort of radar when they were young.
No.
He's going to be the best prop in the game. He's going to be one of the best locks in the game. He's going to be one of the best back rolls in the game. That wasn't the rap on any of those guys.
No, they developed them.
Kick out. Where did he come from? North Queensland.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we're Gus, bang, get down here.
Yeah. I think Fish was an edge back rower.
Yeah.
I think Yowie was a centre wing. It's crazy. I love that. That was a good little tangent that we went on. Speaking about going quickly, BSC cans are going quickly as well, aren't they, Mace? At Coles. Go and get them at Coles. These are all empty because we've just been smashing them lately. For people, like I say, we keep saying this every week, people don't know. They're nice and it's the easiest way to go get them. If you're not good with all the new technology, laptops, all that sort of stuff, going on the internet.
Even compared to other like, what is it? What do you call it? Just pre-workouts, right?
Yep.
They sort of make you shaky and everything like that. You're not really feeling that clear. This is like for your men. I'll take it for this.
Yeah.
So I can think clearly. Bit of energy. It doesn't have that beta-alanine or anything in it. What makes you, like, you remember Chaos?
Yeah, you used to get a little bit too edgy.
Like, you know, run through a brick wall.
Yeah. And that's good for game day.
Yeah, good for game day.
Maybe not training every single day.
Sort of like concentrate on a podcast.
Yeah.
That's you, dude.
Yeah.
So get him at Coles, guys.
Oh, I love it, mate. All right, I got this one from JC. This is with regards to Latrell's interview with Shamus, which I thought was really good. Lukey said it before we got on. I don't want this to be focused too much on the specific Latrell situation because we all know we're very pro Latrell. Yeah. I thought it was a really good interview. So if you haven't seen it, but just off the back of it, Latrell talked about potentially retirement last year with the scrutiny. So JC's question is, will he talk to us about the media spotlight, especially for those listeners who don't know about your career and the parallels that it had with Latrell. Yeah. Before the internet, everyone read the paper, and those papers absolutely demonised and hounded you. I feel as though you were the OG player, constantly scrutinising the media. How would you navigate or give advice to players receiving the constant attention and attacks on their personality and career these days?
I suppose back then the media landscape was all controlled by just the Telegraph, Channel 9, Sun Herald, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Whatever they said was the gospel.
A couple of papers and a couple of TV shows?
It was just the gospel.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So you had no platform at all, right? So whatever they said.
Was Fox even around on your early days?
Yeah.
They were?
Sports was, yeah.
But they didn't have like shows. It was more just
no shows.
It was just footy.
Footy.
Yep.
So Channel 9 always was doing stuff for Channel 9, but it was just the papers and the radio, right? They just get on there and just like
radio was huge actually. Yeah,
hammer you for like a whole fucking day.
Yeah.
I just never took notice of it. I knew it was happening, but I know what sort of person I am. I'm not that sort of person. What they try to portray. The person I am is probably the person that you've been seeing on TV for the last couple of years. That's what I am. That's what I always have been. And I was just that guy in that time, right? That I was their like little whipping boy, but I just didn't give a fuck, right? You know what I mean? It didn't affect my game. That was the main thing.
What do you think that? Because you got really good self-awareness, like you know who you are?
I went through some life shit, right, when I was younger. Like I buried my dad when I was 17 years old. So like I had that real defining moment going, life is not going to get harder than this. Yeah. And it fucking hasn't. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like I put things in perspective and I'm like, I'm getting paid to play footy. This is the best job. This is what I wanted since I was 12. And that's all you can judge me on is football. And then and all I cared about was my family, friends, partner, what they think of me. Yep. And they all love me. So I'm like, why would I give a fuck about a journalist or anybody else that I don't know? I can't go around thinking like that. I never do. I don't do it now. I don't care. It's just like, you're going to have your opinion. Shame on you for even like thinking that, you know what I mean? Because you're reading a paper. That's how easily manipulated people are. And it's just the way people are. It's just the way it was. And I was just like, I didn't really give a fuck, you know what I mean? Because all you could do was judge me on my football. Yeah. And I didn't play bad football. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't there, like I wasn't out of form ever. You know what I mean? But if I was, they'd fucking hammer me. But I'm in control of that.
Yeah, you can quickly fix it.
I'm in control of it.
If you had a bad game, you could fix it the next week.
I can fix it. You know what I mean? Like any big game, there was no moment that was ever too big. You know what I mean? I used to enjoy that kind of stuff. But the journos were just, I had like a love-hate relationship. Some of them were just really like, they were just fuckwits. Right?
Did you understand the game as well though? Like because a lot of it, like if you understand the media now, and we're doing stuff like obviously being with 360, doing stuff with radio, there's time to fill, there's narratives to fill, there's there's stories to be told to fill a segment, to fill a show. So you know, for the most part, sometimes like they don't even necessarily mean what they say.
The worst thing was when like had ex-players come out and say shit. That's when like me and MG had like a massive argument.
Okay, yeah.
Because he said some shit and I wasn't happy with what he said. Yeah. So I just went back at him and this and that. Now we're friends now, but like it was just that moment of time where I was just like, fuck you.
How did you go back in those days? Was that just a journal asked you when you're doing the media scrums? How did you respond back in those days?
Well, I was a writer for the Sun Herald. Adrian presented.
Can I tell that story about Adrian that I told you?
Yeah, Adrian, he was my ghostwriter for the Australian. So I used to fucking clap back in that. Yeah.
So this is a funny story. So Adrian Prezenko does some stuff with me at SEN, and he said he was the ghostwriter for MASE back in the day, and obviously MASE would give his opinion. Maybe it was over a voice note or give him a call, and then he would write his stories. That's how it went. But obviously your name was on it too, right? Like it's not like
Willie Mason.
You're not doing it. Not unanimous, anonymous.
No,
unanimous. It wasn't by anonymous player. It was Willie Mason. And then Adrian reckons he was doing the story, and he didn't tell me the exact details, but you absolutely fucking hammered someone. So I wouldn't be surprised
probably MG
if it's MG. And then AP's like, he's looking at it, he's read it up, and he's going, fuck, this is pretty heavy. I don't know if am I going to post this? And then you start calling as he's about to like send it to the editor. Yeah. He's like, all right, he's going to retract a few things here and take it out. You get on the phone and you go, and he fucking did this and he fucking did that. So not only did you not retract, but you were going to put more stuff, and AP was just like, fuck, bang, 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 bang.
Nah, it was good fun. Like it was just, that's the only sort of power I had, right? Yeah. Was because I was with the Australian and I was with the Herald for a couple of years. So yeah, that was it. I dealt with it quite easy, right? Because as I said, there's more to life than football. Yeah. And when you go through life shit at a young age, none of this worries me. None of it. Still now to this day, it doesn't bother me.
I think that's why a lot of people, especially a lot of older people now that watch us, and it's like a backhanded compliment. Yeah. I used to think Mace was a fucking lemon, or I used to think he was a burger. He's so much better than I ever thought. That's because of the way you were portrayed back in those days, and probably the lack of doing something like we're doing now, being able to like speak on the game and obviously your footy IQ is another strong part of like why people love you.
I reach out to all the players that are going through a bit of shit, right? I reach out to LATRELL and just see how he's going, how he deals with things, because they're built different. Like I'm built different, right? So I don't know how Latrell's feeling with all this kind of stuff. Cody Walker, GI, all these guys who get racially vilified. And I'm like, I need to see if they're going good, you know?
Yep.
Because the only thing that they had a crack at Latrell with is that he wasn't killing it. That's the only reason why they had a crack at him this year. Because the Souths were losing, and they think he should be the best player every week.
Yep.
And he had a couple of down games, and they come straight for him.
And that suspension didn't help as well.
He never plays a bad game. He hardly ever plays a bad game. Then the suspension, and then Souths losing. Then coming back a little bit off the pace. That's all it took from the turn on him.
Do you think the younger players, like I said, everyone knows we're really pro Latrell, and we've been supporters of him. Do you reckon there are other players, like even just say most of the young players are aware of it now, aren't they? They're getting so much better at it. Like it
took them a while.
Yeah, it did. I reckon the last 5 years, I reckon it has really improved the understanding and like moving forward. I think they're
how the media works, right? Like Jerome Luai navigates it beautifully.
Yep.
He doesn't really do that many interviews.
Yep.
He says he throws that little subliminal post. I love it.
Yeah,
right?
so do I.
But they don't like it because they're not in control. And that's the thing where the media, if they can't control you and control the narrative, what's the point of them?
You're right. That's a good point.
What is the point of the media? And I'm like, you are eating and feeding off the game that we fucking built. That's what I say. If you haven't bled for this fucking game like we have, why are you sitting there at your fucking table absolutely tearing shreds off the game and the players? When your fucking salary is paid because of us. That's what I can't handle. If you're an ex-player, say what the fuck you want. Who cares? You've bled for the fucking NRL. Your body's banged up like mine is fucking for the rest of your life. Same as yours. We're all fucked like that, but I wouldn't swap it for anything. But I just don't like people who never bled for the game, never been out there in an Origin, then you fucking have the audacity to have a fucking rating on an Origin player and give him a fucking 3. You put your fucking name to it. You know what I mean? Little things like that. I don't like that, right? Just promote the game. You know, if players, they tend to fuck up, you know, critique it.
Constructive criticism.
Don't try and absolutely hammer this kid. You don't know what he's going through.
If you haven't lived it.
You haven't lived it. You haven't been through the ups and downs or anything like the roller coaster that the NRL is. So like you expect a little bit of empathy from these guys because they're fucking old. They should understand, but they don't. They don't give a fuck.
And even it said like you respect it more from the past players, but if it is a past player and you'll go at MG and you'll have that back and forth, but at the end of the day, you'll probably shake hands on it because
me and MG are mates.
Even if
we laugh about
different opinions, you know that MG's been out there and lived it as well.
That's why I like respect his opinion, but I said I don't agree with what you said. That's it.
All right, mates. I've been telling everyone the subscriptions are flying at the moment. Followers, Instagram, TikTok, they're flying. But a big thing is the likes. Lukey just told me 1,000 likes on YouTube. So that is huge. That brings people in. Wow. That gets the algorithm going. That keeps people following us. So thank you to everyone who liked it. A little mate Lukey at the back there put a comment at the top of all the comments and 1,000 likes. There we go. Then that's huge. That gets us going, mate. So thank you to everyone that has done that and left us a comment or a reply from last episode. And I've got a couple of replies that are going to help us out with some stuff that we're unsure of last week, which I always rely upon our listeners to help us out with some information that I can't quite find. And this one's from Neil Song. Hey, Scope and Mace. The discrepancies you notice in run meters between the NRL and Fox Sports is based around their definition on what constitutes a run. NRL treats any form of line engagement as a run, whereas Fox requires the run to either result in a tackle being made or an attacking stat occurring. So basically, in particular, you will notice that the biggest difference in run meters is halfbacks. For example, Jackson Hastings loves digging into the line and engaging the first defender and therefore got 88 run meters off 18 runs. So he at least gets over the advantage line for the most part.
That's when they start counting it.
And I think that's when they start counting it, right? That's for the NRL compared to 26 run meters off 4 runs for Fox Sports. The other stat you'll notice difference in would be around tackles as NRL counts third man in. Hope that helps, gents. So
they shouldn't count third man in.
Yeah, that's why Hindy always got 40 plus.
Hindy got 70 tackles. 63rd man ins.
Love you, Hindy. Love listening to your content all through the week. Wish there was somehow we could even get more.
Ooh,
Who knows?
You're pushing it.
2025, we'll see.
On, man.
We'll see what happens. Or off season, we could have something coming up. So thanks for that, mate. Really appreciate that, Neil. I've always wondered what the difference was, and that's huge considering the discrepancy and difference between Jackson Hastings, particularly on the weekend. 88 run meters off 18 runs compared to 26 off 4.
Like when he did 88 meters, bud?
There's no. Oh, I didn't even look at Jackson Hastings for this particular stat, but that is the perfect example. And maybe
why somewhere in between that, I reckon, like 50 meters or something.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, so
they're counting it when as soon as he gets over this advantage line, digs in a little bit and passes out the back. That's meters gain.
Yeah, must be
bullshit.
Yeah, that must be. That must be because there's no way he definitely didn't get tackled 18 times, right? And he did probably get tackled 4 times. I would say like if you pierce the line and then pass, then I'd consider all those stats. Does that make sense? Right? Yeah. Like if you just say if Jackson Hastings goes to the line, just say from the play the ball, right? And he busts through the line, makes a break, and he gets like angle tapped about 10 metres past the line, then offloads. So you give Jackson you give Jackson the first 10 metres, and then whoever picks it up gets the next 20.
Because if it's a quick play the ball, right, and Jackson or any other half gets the ball and takes 10 metres and then passes the ball, no.
Yeah.
Because you're not copping a hit.
Yeah. Yeah. If
middles are different. If you're always going into the line, Cam Murray, and you sort of like, even he has to get hit.
Yeah,
I reckon you can't just be like taking
so
those
do
meters.
I'm with you.
Take those meters.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's nothing.
With you. So
it's meters if you get fucking smashed.
I'm going to start doing NRL. I'm going to start doing Fox meters going forward, just so we get more accurate. This one is from just a long name that doesn't make any sense, but it's a good one. Thank you to whoever it is. It finishes in goes out. Anyway,
is it that Fijian kid that's for the Roosters?
No, this is what it is. That never goes out. That's his name on YouTube. If no one's mentioned it, it was Jake Mutters Clifford who tackled Dane Laurie in the air yesterday in the end zone. Laurie and the Panthers got a penalty for it. Gus Gould disagreed with the call, saying that wasn't the rule and why it was implemented because the tackle wasn't dangerous at all. So that was the tackle we were talking about. Obviously, Dane Laurie goes to catch it in goals. Yeah. Clifford sort of tackled him, but didn't tackle him to the ground, like basically
held him up
in the one motion, didn't let him get to the ground. And I was trying to figure out who that was. And
was that a penalty?
It was a penalty, yeah. Yeah, Penrith got the ball. And
he's in the air, that's it. Yeah. That's the only way. Like if they're going to rule on that, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, and
be consistent on it.
Yeah, let's go. So I've got some stuff with the referees coming up. This one is from JP May. This is off the back of the Nicho Hines and Mitchell Moses chat, and I think it's a fair point, valid point. Remember, Mitchell Moses had the same questions on him as Nicho when it came to pressure situations. I remember him missing some crucial conversions around that time too. Just got to ride it out and keep going, and you could be in the position. Nicho could be in the position where Mitch is now, where we feel like in the last couple of years, we talked about Origin just at the top of the show. Do you feel like now you're confident in Mitch Moses as a Origin player? And did you always have that confidence?
I didn't have confidence in Moses 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Now I do.
Yeah, okay. When was the moment? Was it the broken back? Was it last year's game 3?
I didn't realise he broke his back.
Was it this game?
This game.
I
didn't count the dead rubber last year.
Okay.
I needed him to get there when everything's on the line, and he fucking carved. So you've got to give him his flowers there.
Hey, someone told me and corrected me on this, and Lukey pointed it out. He actually played game 2 of last year as well. I forgot all about that. He played when they got pumped by Queensland. So
then they're fucking, who cares then? It still stands what I'm talking about.
Okay, so you need to see him do it in game 3 before you cement him.
No, he's good in my books.
Okay, still good
because his defence is outstanding.
Yeah,
that's the main thing. That was the knock on him. Never knocked the way that he played with the ball. He's one of the best short side attackers, best kicking game, passing game, orchestrators around the field. It's just defense, and he's picked that up. He gets spotted up. He's cleaning blokes up.
Sounds like you're talking about Nicho of now than Mitch's of 5 years ago. So it's a good point from JP, mate. There's still time for Nicho.
Nicho just needs to keep working hard.
Yeah.
That's all.
Stay in the lab?
Yeah, just stay in the lab. Just keep working. He's got one of the best coaches out there. You got Josh Hannay. You got Craig Fitzgibbons, one of the best defensive players to play the game.
Yep.
So he'd be teaching him a hell of a lot.
And they've got a good
roster.
And
you got Daniel Holsworth as well.
Yep.
He's a smart man.
Was he a good defensive half, DJ, or was he more attacking? He was
Not really. Yeah. He wasn't like a fucking massive banger or anything like that.
But
like,
was he solid?
He was solid, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a Trent Barrett, Andrew Johns. They're the two best defensive halves.
Yeah.
Because they'll smack the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Craig Gower.
Was Gowie really good? Was he?
Gowie was good. Yeah.
I remember. I remember him being stocky, but I don't.
Imagine your nickname was Pig.
Yeah, that's best.
And you don't.
But that's more off field.
And you don't look like one.
But that's more off field, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
All right, this one is from Tariq M13. Chat to the brothers. Love the vids. Quick questions for both of you in terms of SJ Tamati Martin combo against Tamati Martin Chanel Harris-Tavita. Would you consider it similar to Sam Walker and Luke Keary, where together it can work, but it's a real push and pull combo? Because like we said, it took a while for them to get going, Keary and Sam Walker, almost 3 or 4 years now.
And Smith.
And Brendan Smith, for sure. But I reckon a big part of the success the Roosters are having now is Kez has pulled back ever so slightly.
Yeah,
I think there was a tug of war happening there about who the guy was.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Kez is finishing at the end of the year. I think that would have been a tough conversation in between everyone at that franchise and club. Just pull back. Sammy's going to be the future. Work with him. And now it's working. And then, maybe if Shawnee does come back and play some footy at the back end of the year and it's at the expense of a Chanel to play with Tamati, maybe he goes, Shawnee, this is potentially your last year. Pull back a little bit, give some more rein to Tamati, and that could work.
That's the conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah. I think it's a good point, right?
I think, it's going to be hard because he's still SJ, right? He just needs to get his body right.
Yeah.
And it just sucks. I think the timing from what's really hampered their season is Egan. Egan's been in and out of the team and injured and all that HIA and a couple of little injuries where last year he nearly got hook of the year.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
start of the year.
He had his career best year. Like, on fire, like that first couple of games doing hang plays off the 9 and everything like that. I was like, then they started working it out, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not dominating the middle, that nullifies Egan. It's a bit like Cook. But, I just think it's hard. Like, there's 9, 7, 6 with the Warriors. They're just not clicking. But it looks like it's clicking with these two young kids now.
Yeah, it does.
That's what sucks.
Yeah. Not for long term though. If they work this out,
I know that. I'm just saying for this year.
Yeah, for this year.
If this is his last ride, SJ's,
Yeah.
we just need to see what sort of SJ comes back.
Yeah.
I don't care if he comes back in round 22. I just need they need him fit and willing to get and pop those licks into the line, everything like that, because they're just off the pace with him a little bit.
They're currently sitting in 13th on 17 points, 3 points outside of the top 8. If they go on a run with Chanel and Tamati, it's going to be very hard for him to get back into the team, especially if momentum.
And I think they're going to do that. So Andrew Webster's got a big decision to make.
Huge.
Do you start him, you just put like Chanel on the bench. He's an animal, mate. He can fucking
I like
tackle.
Chanel.
He hits hard.
Yeah, he looks that year off did him really well. He looks what's the word?
Motivated.
Motivated is a good word.
Just looks like he wants
hungry.
It. Hungry.
That's
missed out on a whole year.
Yeah.
Wants to prove himself again.
Yeah.
Like, I'm that dude. I can handle the 6. I can handle the 6.
Yeah, we're talking about at the start of the show when you get perspective of like what the game's like. Like one thing I wish I'd got the opportunity to do is after the Super League come back and play a year in the NRL, because I reckon I would have appreciated it so much more. But when you're gone for 4 years, that's it. Very hard for a player of my level to get back in. But it's like always now Chanel's got that perspective already. Yeah. Like he knows what it's like to be on the outside. A lot of gratitude.
Got a lot of gratitude to even play NRL.
Yeah.
Guys like Bronx and Cherry, who's been through a lot of shit off the field. So when you take that away from players, right? Even a year, 4 years, 12 months, you really sit back. Like even going through injuries when you're out for the year, you're like, fuck. You get a little bit down, but it's just like, fuck, how lucky you are to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
To have some gratitude, to have some perspective on life. So like, and then you appreciate and you don't mind going to train and getting flogged every day because you fucking want to do it.
Yeah.
And you're getting paid a shitload of money to do something that we were dreaming about when we were 10 years old.
And you might be hanging
I want to be a pro player, a professional player, and you live that. Like I'm sitting here now, I've lived all those dreams that I had when I was younger. And I'm blessed, right? And I have a lot of gratitude towards that. And I have a lot of I thank the game and everything like that. I'm not sitting there
not bitter
ever as a bitter player, ever, because the game gives you everything. It's a double-edged sword, right? You use the game uses you.
Yep, 100%.
That's about it.
All right. One thing I want to address, we've talked about it a lot. I actually got a DM off Gutho off the back of our clip. We were talking about a few things that he disagreed with in the clip. But
he slid into the DMs.
He slid into the DMs. He sent me there because we talked about, sort of my take on it was his mindset moving forward in the officiating. So the bigger part of it is I want to get to the officiating. I love that Gutho reached out too. We still disagreed on a few things, but that stays. All right. But me and Gutho have known each other for ages. But one thing I agreed upon is he brought up a take about like accountability for the referees, which is why he gets frustrated and why he goes at them sometimes. There really isn't any. But rather than just completely bash referees, which happens all the time, you said it before, off low-hanging fruit, right?
Yeah.
I like to come up with I think the reasons that they're under as much pressure because one thing I hear in this, and I've probably regurgitated it myself when I've been frustrated with decisions on the weekend is, are the referees as bad as we think or are they worse than referees from our era, right? So when you think back to referees from our era, there are a few things that have changed that have completely changed they've changed the landscape. So when you look back on those referees, you're like, they were so, you see a clip of how they handled a situation really well. There's one game where I played Parramatta versus Storm, and I think it was Tim Mander. Yeah. And the way he spoke to the players and settled down the situation. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was Tony Archer. Tony Archer.
I remember Tony.
And the way he spoke was, perfect. He settled down the situation. No one got sent off. It was crazy. It was Billy versus Hainsey in a headbutting incident, and then it turned into pretty much an all-in, and everyone comes in. And then he just everyone settled down, and we got on with footy, right? So there's a couple of things different. That was like the implementation of mics and all that sort of stuff. So I think the two rule changes that have made it really hard right now for the referees, and this is what I said to Gutho as well, and his problem with the referees and my perceived problem with him barking at the referees at the moment is captain's challenge. One. Yeah. We talk about subconscious before. We talk about ego involved in that. If you consistently get challenged by the captain on a challenge and it gets reversed 3-4 times. I don't know how
can they get filthy.
I don't know how as a referee you don't either start to get bitter at the captain or the players. Like you've got to be professional, like I said, or slightly embarrassed. Right? Oh, I got another one wrong. Like imagine in your head you're telling those up.
The Gutho one with the drop ball one got him.
Yeah, that was a really good captain's challenge. Yeah. Well, this is what I said to him. I said, mate, you guys are one of the best, like you and Mitchie combined, are one of the best combinations of getting captain challenges right. Like that wouldn't sit right with me if I was the referee all the time. Like
it should, but because you're a professional.
Yeah, of course, right? So like I'm just trying to get through a couple of reasons why I think there's been this animosity or build up from referees, right? That's one. The other one is the 6 again, and this has been talked about a lot this week. And
Cam Smith said,
I agree. I think I like this 6 again rule because it did speed up the ruck and control. I think there should be 1 6 again per ruck. The 2 or 3 or 4 in a row. Yep. It's too willy-nilly. Like we don't know what's going on with them and we don't get a description of it. So it'll be we've got all this communication and we hear what players are saying. Rather than saying ruck infringement, like there's so much grey area around that. Like identify exactly what it is. Let us know if it's hand on the ball because what it's doing is, one, back in our day, just say from my level of play, if I gave away 2 penalties in a game, I was in Barney of potentially getting dropped, right? So some players, there could be 2 or 3 players in a tackle that are giving away 6 agains and you're getting away with it and you push it a little bit more as a player because no one knows who the actual ruck infringement is. It could be offside, it could be holding the ball, it could be pulling the leg, but no one knows what it is because all they say is 6 again and no one's able to identify it and it moves on so quickly that we as fans, and some of the coaches might even know.
That's all it says, ruck infringement.
Ruck infringement,
ding,
right?
Ding.
So I would limit that. The other part now with the referees that they have to deal with that obviously players are dealing with now is social media and immediate fan reactions. So if you finish a game...
Straight on Twitter.
NRL, Fox, they post clips from a game or a decision from a game and the referees just get hammered. So this is what the referees are dealing with. Like this is what they're going through now. Another one, and you can't deny it, and we talk about it, but it's gambling on games. The bias towards obviously fans of their own teams, and gambling plays a part in uproar from fans when, you know, they're obviously biased if they've got to play on a certain game, a certain team, a certain player. That wasn't there as prevalent back in the 90s and 2000s. The other one is, I think this is a positive. I think the game is as popular and fans are as passionate as they've ever been.
And you know why? I'll digress back to that 6 again, right?
Yep.
So with the Landies and the powers that be, what they want is eyes on that TV. So, like, if we're going to sit there and give a penalty and then explain to the fucking captain why it's what it's for, have a scrum, all this sort of shit, it wastes time. For 80 minutes, about 5 years ago, 80 minutes was taking about 2.5 hours to watch on a Friday night. So what they want to do is keep the eyes on the TV, the ball in play all the time, 6 to go, whatever. You know what I mean? So when they kick it out, boom, it's not a scrum. You get straight on the 20 and it's go, 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 go. That's what it is. It's not about like – that's why they've just told the refs, ruck infringement. You can't say anything about it. And they won't change it because they want the game to be sped up, because kicking out, walking to a scrum is a minute and a half, right? So that's eyeballs on the TV. People's attention span is fucking done after 30 seconds. If that's boring as shit, bang, let's change it to union or cricket or some other sport, right? So they want eyes on the TV 24/7. That's why the ball's always in play. So when they do the 60 goes and everything like that, that's the reason why, because they don't want to fucking scrum and they don't want to sit there explaining to these fucking captains coming up whinging all the time.
That's a great example. Rugby union really struggling at the moment.
Look, you
too
kick
many
a fucking
stoppages.
line out. A line out could take 5 minutes. What are you watching? Unless you're a purist, you're like, fuck this, I go to league.
Well, so I'm a purist for test match cricket as well. That is not as popular as it's been. T20's blown up, so you're right. Yep. They obviously want to keep the game going, and that's a part of keeping people engaged. And
there's analytics. There's analytics proving it. Like people switching off, everything like that. Even that Origin 1, a lot of people switched off. I'll go watch something else. Game over after 8 minutes.
Yeah. Do you agree that we could at least, like, I'm trying to find compromise. I love this too, because I'm not like set in exactly what. So I agree with that. The game is better for 6 again, and I don't want the 6 again ruled out. Can we get a description for the 6 again on the run from the referees?
The refs should be able to do that.
Do you think we need to get that? Because rather than ruck infringement,
instead of stopping the game and then I'll just say GUTHO or
just let us know what it is.
Just let us know.
Yep.
So we don't do it again.
Yep.
Right? What's that for, ref? Hands on the ball. Lifting the one leg. It's something like that, holding on too much. A lot of players push it a lot.
Yes.
Like that young kid from Brisbane, Tyson Smoothie.
Yep.
I'm like, dude, let go. Do you know what I mean? And that's the difference between a Melbourne and anyone else. Melbourne are so consistent in their ruck defence and how long they are, and they disguise it so good.
Yep.
Other teams aren't as good.
Yep.
So if you're like, you're getting your ruck blown and then like a Smoothie or someone just holds on too long because he's been in the Melbourne system, doesn't float, mate. They'll get you straight away.
I got it. Yeah, and I agree. I like where we're going with this. So then Tyson Smoothie, ruck infringement, holding. So you don't say ruck infringement. Tyson Smoothie holding the ball 6 again. So we identify who the person is.
Yep.
He knows who it is. So he's under the pump from his teammates.
Coming through the TV as well from the refs.
Like because again, when you see 6 again, like there's 3 in like what's it?
Like the Origin one.
It's not the whistle. What are they? It's like a ding, like a bell noise.
Bell, But like the Origin one, like 3 in a row.
Yeah.
No one knew what was that.
No one knew what players did the right. Was it offside?
That's why Cam Smith wants to change it, because it's their Origin.
Of course. But I reckon it's a deeper issue outside of just Origin.
I understand.
I think it's a problem in the game.
A better reason, right? Instead of going ruck infringement. And I don't even think the ref says anything to the players. You just hear it you hear the bell and it says ruck infringement.
They don't, mate.
That's it. That's it. I would like to hear an explanation.
Awesome, because that's what I wanted to get to. I think that's one thing that could improve the 6 again for sure. And the captain challenge, I've got to tweak in for that too. So like I said, the ego of referees is taken a hit when they consistently get it right. I reckon you've got to be more critical with it, or like as in more specific when you challenge as a captain. So in the NFL, they have 2 captain's challenges, and they get a 3rd one if they get it right.
Do you think we should have more?
No. So at the moment, we've got one, right? I would cap it. So they've got to be – so at the start of the game when there's like a 50-50 call, and I know people are going to scream out, well, what's the point of having it anyway? But you've got like – errors happen in the NFL, but they're more critical at the back end in the final, 4 to 5 minutes a game. So that's basically when the NFL will do it. And even in the NBA, sometimes you see a call where a player might step on the line and or a foul, there might be a foul, and they always look to the coaches and go challenge, like coaches challenge.
1.5.
1.5.
1.5.
I think
that's fair.
I think that's then rather than doing it, the entire game. And look, there will be errors and there might be mistakes that the referees make, but that happened for years as well.
Some just say if you burn your first one in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah,
a lot of clubs do that.
Yeah,
and then in the last 10 minutes you haven't got anything, and that guy raked the ball out.
Yeah,
and the ref missed it.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like that's why I think they should have 1.5.
1.5.
That's fair.
I think that's what was going to be mine too.
That last 15, 20 minutes can cost games.
Yeah. And I'd be saving it for the most part. If I know I only had one per half, regardless of the result. It has
to be like proper.
Yeah.
100%.
Because you'd probably use it more often than not in the last 5 minutes of the back end of halves. Or if you don't use it in the first half, then you get 2 in the second half.
Because I've seen a lot where momentum has changed so much because the ref has missed that call, and then they show on the replay that it's a definite rip. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like they need to really, I don't know, they can tinker with that.
Yeah.
1.5?
Yeah.
Surely it can't be that bad.
Yeah, I think that's something that could be implemented for sure. So, and then also the last thing that referees are dealing with now, and I don't joke around about this, but we live in the world, people who own tinfoil hats now. Right. Oh, yeah. So you know what I mean by that? Like there are people that genuinely believe that the league controls outcomes. Like, the script.
Like Origin too, like there's a script. Fucking shut up.
The script in the NFL.
You try and get a script to the end.
Or the NRL want a decider. Like people say that tongue in cheek, but there are also people that believe that that's a thing, right?
Because they would have thought in game 2, 3 or 4, 60 goes, it cost them the game. Shut up.
Exactly. So when you start seeing.
They had to win because they want a game 3 because it's massive.
Yeah.
Of course it is. It's not a lie. But they are not going to manipulate the game.
They're not.
And you can't manipulate the game that much for an outcome for New South Wales to be 34-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
Off day for Queensland, on for New South Wales.
So this is another factor which makes it hard for the referees that we didn't have 15 years ago. So what is the solution? Don't point the finger. I'm big on that without coming up with a compromise. My biggest thing is interpretation. That's the biggest drama that we're having in this day and age, and we've talked about it for a while now. So the NRL have to do the referees a favour and remove the different bunker official from every game. We've said it before. It's going on deaf ears, but if they want to improve or help out the referees, then they need to have 2 bunker officials that either do Thursday and the Super Saturdays and the 2 Fridays and 2 Sunday games. And I'm going to break it down even more so. I think, like I said, I'm critical of the referees, but I'm, again...
You have some empathy for them?
I do have some empathy, right? And my biggest thing is I think there's the lack of quality of referees right now that are handling the situations that they're currently being dealt. I think there are, for me, you might have some differing guys, but I would figure out who the top 4 referees are and get them to officiate 2 games each on the weekend.
Yeah.
And again,
paid enough.
Well, yeah. And even if you've got to pay them a little bit more, the salaries are better than what I thought, by the way.
It's 300,000-400,000.
But my top 3 referees right now, I couldn't find a 4th. That's how bad I think some of them are doing a job right now. I
wouldn't even know 4 people's names.
So Adam G, the biggest compliment that I can give to Adam G, you think about the momentum swings that grand final had last year with the Broncos.
When Walsh nearly got it, that should have been a penalty. When Walsh got out and then they second movement got him back in and he let it slide. Remember that beautiful kick from Critter?
Oh, yeah.
The short side. I'm like, in a game, all he has to do is be touched and he's held.
Yeah. But
he let it slide.
Yeah. Literally.
Slide.
But my thing with that is, out of that game, you had momentum swings, you had biggest moment, grand finals. No one talked about Adam G at all. So,
well, they gave him a massive rap after that.
Well, that's the point. But there was no negative talk about it.
No, I thought he was a king.
So for the most part,
Super Saturday at 2:00.
Well, what's doing? So Adam G would probably be my number 1 referee right now. I like Grant Atkins. I thought he's done a good job for the most part. And I think a young up and comer at the moment is Liam Marshall. They would be my top 3. Figure out who the 4th is. And look, it might sound harsh to the other referees, but that's that's what happens to us when we play NRL. Like the reason people like this podcast is, like I say all the time, I had to work for my spot. I got dropped a number of times and I wasn't good enough to play NRL. If you're not good enough as a referee, so be it. Like go and referee in New South Wales Cup, Queensland Cup, get your reps, handle those situations
it's not
correctly.
Like there's a shortage of referees. There's a shortage of good referees.
Yes, 100%.
You have a look at that. They've got about 20-something refs that are full-time getting paid a fair bit of money.
Yeah.
That's your job. So if you do your job shit, just like any other occupation, you fucking get demoted.
100%.
Or you get promoted. That's it.
Yep, and you keep grinding if you do a good job and
just get better.
NRLW is going to get bigger and bigger. You know, ply your trade in the NRLW.
Like get better. You got that much help. You got the video ref. You got the bunker and everything like that. You just have to fucking take control of the game.
Yep, and then that way again, that takes out the. Like I said, the interpretations is huge. So, like the way that you viewed the Blaze Talangi try, and I didn't. The less you take out of us being on a different page by having 4 referees that do 2 games per week. Now, it's not going to happen. I know it's not going to happen, but I really think there should be people within the game that are helping out the referees that actually officiate in the games and trying to come up with some sort of solution. Because right now, I think it's for the most part really poorly officiated.
Yeah.
And your referees are going to continually get hammered in big moments. And, you know, what is it like? There's some really shit things that are happening to them at the moment, like people going into players' DMs and probably people going and abusing referees. You're not helping your referees out if you continue to just let them keep doing the job that they're doing and not have any consequences or not try to come up with any sort of compromise.
Yeah.
All right, that's my. I just wanted to feel like I wanted to get that out. It's been frustrating.
It's enough for you fucking refs, God.
Yeah. All right, and that's it. No more ref chat for the rest of the year. Deal?
Deal.
And no more chat about the Eels head coaching job, hopefully after tonight, mate, because the Parramatta board had a meeting on Tuesday. It's been reported that they made a decision and it's going to be out of between Jason Ryles, Josh Hannay and Dean Young. Obviously, it's not going to be Trent Barrett if they didn't announce it before the game because they're worried about announcing it before Thursday's game and taking the sting.
It could be a bit of drama if Dean Young gets it.
In what way?
Because the guy that they signed from St George, I don't think that relationship's so good.
Ooh, is that breaking news?
Yeah,
there you go. Because I was going to get to that.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, so I'm thinking they might go over Jason Ryles just because of that reason.
So I think I reckon you're 100% right. You didn't tell me this off air too. Nice, save that for the organic. Yeah. You've almost cut the candidates in half.
Yeah.
Trent Barrett's not going to get it if they didn't want to announce it before Thursday to unsettle the game tonight. And now Dean Young's not going to get it if they do want to indeed want to keep Lomax, who is...
That's why the rumours are Zach Lomax is going to backflip.
Wow. Wow, that's
Put
huge.
2 and 2 together.
That's huge. What about the form? Here we go. Lukey's pumped up. Parramatta chat. Come on, mate. Yep. Yeah, so Lukey's saying, you watched, did you get that off 360? Yeah, when he was watching you. So the reports are, internally they had already sacked Brad Arthur or he was on the way out, right? Because they were looking at Wayne Bennett when they'd signed Zach Lomax. But when Zach Lomax was having those conversations, and it's been a bit of a running joke, he is like the best winger in the competition. Brad was going to give him the opportunity to play centres. Now, you're right. If Dean Young comes in and Dean Young's looking at what's happening at St George...
and he's seen everything that's happened. So everything that we don't know, he knows because he's been with Flano and the coaches have meetings and they talk a lot of shit. I don't think he's, it won't fit.
There you go. So Jason Ryles or Josh Hannay in your opinion?
Yep.
All right. I like it. And has this been too drawn out? Has this been like a boring process for you?
I haven't even taken notice, but I'm sick of fucking talking about it.
All right, let's get on to the game.
I just want Rylesy or someone to get the job.
Yeah, I'd love to see Rylesy.
What's such a big deal?
Yeah. Like Rylesy's my guy.
They're all similar ages, probably got the same sort of IQ, and it's just do it.
Yeah, for the most part though,
especially for the players, right?
Yeah, and recruiting, and the future of players that potentially needed to be moved on. Before we get into the preview of the odds for this week, I'm going to give you my Levels Bets Friends special. I've got the Eels and Rabbits over 50.5 points with AJ, Alex Johnson and Blaze Talangi to score, both of them, in the first 60 minutes for $7 from the traders with a max bet of $25. Both those guys can score for fun. They'll be marking each other. Blaze Talangi scored 2 on the weekend with Greg Marzhew scoring 2 against him for the night. So I like that play, and I think there's going to be some points if this weather holds off. So give me the over 50.5 points. All right, mate, here we go. Round 18. You ready to go?
Ready.
Got the team list here in front of us. The Eels play the Rabbitohs tonight at 7:50 p.m. at CommBank Stadium. I'm calling that game for SEN.
Nice.
So, again, if you want to chuck it on mute and listen to us on SEN, the skipper is going to be on fire. The Eels, however, a hamstring injury to Mike Acevo brings in debutant Jake Tungall. I wonder if he's related to Isaac. On the wing for his NRL debut, while back rower Charlie Geimer will also make his debut off the bench for the Eels. As for the Rabbitohs, they welcome back Cameron Murray and Latrell Mitchell from Blues duty, with Michael Cheekham going to the bench and Jai Gray going to 18th man. So a very settled Rabbitohs team at the moment, Mace, with a couple of returns. And despite the loss, I thought Parramatta, again, I keep saying this, they're the best team to be sitting in last ever, I think.
Yep.
And they've still got a really good squad, and they're at CommBank. How do you see this game? The line for the sorry, mate. The line for Parramatta is +3.5 underdogs at home. So do you think Souths can beat them by more than a try?
I think Souths will win this.
Okay.
But I'm just trying to think about the mindset of Parramatta right now. Looking around that dressing room, doing training sessions, and like, how the fuck are we last? Do we have a chance mathematically?
Yes.
They do.
They're alive.
Right? So every game counts.
Yep.
Can they go on a run? Possibly. Guess who's in the same position? Souths. This is going to be a desperation game, and they're both desperate, right? So I'm thinking, I think Souths will get them. I just think like Latrell's on a bit of a tear. Jack's good. He's been playing great. Latrell. Kalyn Matangi. This will be a cracking game. I can't wait to watch this game.
One of the OGs, Jimmy Reid, who's an L1 from day one, has been messaging me for like the last 3 weeks. When I said that they were going to go on a run, he got on them at $61 to make the top 8. They're currently $5.50, and I think they've got to win at least 8 of their last 10 games.
Yeah, but that's for them to guarantee, right?
Yes.
These other teams slip. So when
7 could potentially get it.
Yeah, people at home, when you say they've got to win 8 out of 10, they don't necessarily have to win 8, right? These other teams that are coming,
it's a logjam.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yep.
They can just leapfrog them if they win every game. They'll nearly get in the fucking
History says they've probably got to get 8. 7 could get it. 9 guarantees.
What about the Eels? Every game, right?
Pretty much. Yeah. Oh, they're going to need an 09 Hameplane run.
What would it be like at training? The spirits of that team. Not knowing what your coach is, playing really well for like 60 minutes and letting games slip.
Do you reckon they're at rock bottom now, similar to Souths about 5 weeks ago, where it's just as bad as it can get, and there's only one way is up?
Yeah.
And which makes them even more so dangerous?
Because they're a dangerous time.
Yeah.
They're a dangerous side. Still got a good team. They've still got a top 8 roster.
Yep.
It'd be frustrating being a Para supporter.
Which way you going, mate? You going Souths to win?
Yep, Souths.
Do you think they can beat them by more than 4 points a try?
Yep.
I'm with you. I've got Souths -3.5. I think they're on fire at the moment. Give me Cody Walker anytime at $3.75. All right, the next game, we have the Cronulla Sharks against the Gold Coast Titans. And this game is at CX Coffs International Stadium in Coffs Harbour. Daniel Atkinson is the new player on the wing for Sione Katoa. In the only change that got beaten by the Bulldogs in Golden Point last week. Alejandro Brimson, AJ Brimson is back and takes the spot of Jaden Campbell, who's out with a hand injury.
Oh, God.
Winger Jojo Fafita is back after missing last week's game against the Warriors due to illness. So Phil Sammy goes back to centres, and Beau Fermor goes back into the back row. Mo Fodawaker returns from Maroon's duty, so Josiah Pahulu, who's been really good for him, he goes back to the bench.
Jeez.
He's a little pocket rocket off the bench. I
don't mind the Titans.
Oh,
I'm going the Titans.
yeah, I like him.
Yeah. Fafita's going to be on a tear. I
Yeah.
think he's just going to just
Huge game for him.
absolutely destroy whoever's there.
Cronulla are $1.42 favourites with Gold Coast $2.90 underdogs. The line is 7.5. So we're both looks like we're both going to take that 7.5, aren't we?
Yep.
Yep.
What edge is Nicho Hines? Is he right? No, he's right edge.
He's going to have David Fafita coming at him. He had kicks last week, did a pretty good job.
No, he won't have.
Yeah, he will.
Yes, he will.
Yeah,
Oof.
he's got Dave. Both
That's a
Fermor's on the
different beast.
right.
That's a different beast, that guy.
It is literally a different beast.
Yeah, he is.
They're both beasts, but it's a different beast.
Kicks.
Yeah.
But
and Kicks has got a bad finger at the moment, so
Yeah.
he's not full 100%
this
kicker.
guy wants to play in
This is pissed off trying to get into Origin, David Fafita.
MOM for Dave Fafita.
Well, Well, yeah, I think he's going to have a big game as well.
Look at that. Just even having Alejandro back, right?
Yeah.
Fodawaker.
It's a good team.
Aaron Clark's a bit of a strange one.
Yeah, Aaron Clark's been starting the last couple of weeks. They've been trying to find a spot with it for Aaron Clark for a while now. He started off as a hooker.
Speed, good defensive player, and he gets fucking quick play the ball. So that's his role.
Yep. He went from hooker to lock to now front row.
Lock and front row are pretty similar, both these teams. Chris Randall's a good player. He's a good hitter.
Chris Randall? Chris Randall?
Yeah. Good
he
hitter.
is super underrated.
Yeah.
We've been talking about him now for a year.
He's good.
Yeah.
He'll surprise a couple of these big boys. They think they're going to spot him up.
Yeah.
He's going to jam you straight in the guts.
Who did they play last week? Was it the Warriors? Who did he lick from the Warriors?
I think he's going to get big Tommy Hazelton.
He smoked, I think, Dylan Walker.
Yeah, he can fucking hit, mate.
He can hit, mate.
Great,
yeah. He's way better than what I thought he was at the Knights. And because he's at the Titans and they haven't been winning games.
Isaac Liu.
Yeah.
Bahulu, that young kid.
He's good, man. He's good. All right, the next game, the last game on Friday night is the Broncos versus Panthers. Oh, actually, I'm calling that game as well. I'm doing back-to-back, but I'm calling that in the studio. Broncos versus Panthers Friday, 8 p.m. at Suncorp Stadium. Reece Walsh, Paddy Carrigan and Payne Hassel return. Dean Mariner shifts to the centres with Corey Oates on the wing to replace Tony Staggs, who's unavailable due to personal reasons. Jack Jasewski and Fletcher Baker are both suffered injuries against the Wires, so they're out. As for the Panthers, the Premiers welcome back all their Origin stars. So Dylan Edwards, Brian To'o, Jerome Luai and Liam Martin, while Isaiah Yeo returns to the starting side. Therefore, Dane Laurie, Liam Henry and Matt Eisenhuth revert to the bench.
Reece Walsh. Reece Walsh.
So the Tab have Brisbane Broncos $2.35 underdogs at home against the Penrith Panthers, who are $1.60.
I want to see Reece Walsh carve up. You know, he looks a little bit rattled from obviously game one, then into game two. He's copped a little bit of criticism. I think this will be the game where he shines. I want him to play good because I want him to get his confidence back because he's a fucking superstar.
It felt like he was untouchable at the start of the year, even with a few niggling injuries and he missing some games. It felt
his
like
confidence
this Panthers
levels.
game. Remember the Panthers game when Taylor May hit him and he broke his jaw?
Yeah.
He struggled to get back to form since that collision.
Yeah.
And then obviously we talked about the
like
effect.
That in Origin too.
Yeah.
Like I don't think people they're underestimating how much that rattles a young man like that. He's 20. He's 21 years old. He copped one of the biggest hits. That'd be like Mike Tyson giving you a fucking straight right.
Yeah, it's huge.
Do you know what I mean? Like when you're like that and your eyes are in the back of your head,
Passing the footy like that.
but then you can like play in 2 weeks. Like it's just not right. If the game acts like they care about the players, he wouldn't be playing for fucking 6 weeks minimum.
Yeah, they're doing a lot better job.
Doing a better job but you get more eyes on the TV when he's playing.
As brutal as the game is, sometimes some hits, not all hits are created equal.
This was one of the worst ones.
Yeah.
So I just want to see him back playing his best football, smiling, having a great time. Just so because I know what Penrith's going to do.
Yeah.
Straight down the middle and just absolutely poleaxe him.
Yeah.
Just to see how he's feeling.
They're going to keep him in a cage, aren't they? Or they might kick to
Moses, Fish. Imagine that on your kick chase.
I think they're going to cage up, what's his name?
Mariner.
So Mariner, Jesse Arthurs will go to the right if Corey Oates is playing because he plays
I think they'll go
left.
straight down the guts and just kick it to Walsh so he doesn't have an option. Like
Oh,
that, just
can't
that
wait.
bomb, like that about 4 second hang time.
Yep.
Catch.
Take a little bit off it.
Catch. Bang.
Yeah, because they don't kick for distance. They
See
kick
how you
for
feel.
airtime.
Yeah.
The Panthers.
It's about, because you're thinking how many yards can you get, how many metres can you get in 4 or 5 seconds? Easy, like 40 metres.
So take a little bit off.
Not easy, but I mean like 5 seconds.
Well, it feels like Dylan
by the time
Edwards
he
gets...
catches it, by the time he catches it,
He gets 20 metres every carry.
yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I had CANBERRA as my anytime try scorer for the Sharks game as well. I forgot about that. I'm on Panthers -4.5 at $1.90 and give me Isaac Tungle anytime. He's on the
Should be a
right-hand
good game,
side.
man.
And we've got
Arse and
Selwyn
Fish.
Cobbo, who I think is in for a huge game, but there have been times where that
Brendan
left edge has struggled as well.
Brendan P.
Quarter.
If he's outstanding. If he makes a couple of line breaks against that team, you've got to look at him for Origin.
He'd be in consideration.
You've got to look at him.
Yeah. Billy will be watching Friday night very closely. Very closely. All right, let's get to Saturday. We have the Bulldogs at home at a core, undefeated at a core too, by the way, Mace, versus the Warriors. This will be a really good game. Connor Tracy is back in the number 1 jersey. So Carraz moves back to the wing. Jarrell Goughton goes to 18th man. Kurt Mann returns as well, so that pushes Blake Taft to the reserves. No changes for the Wars, which got the job done last week against the Broncos, but with a couple of tweaks to the forward pack rotation. Tohu Harris has been starting off the bench for the last couple of weeks. Dylan Walker has been starting. And I hear from that Webby is going to start and trying to get the best out of RTS. They're going to put him on the wing, mate. Now, he had one game on the wing, and reports are he's been training on the wing. So we could see either
those play twos, get the ball rolling.
I think we maybe see maybe a Marcelo Montoya move to the centres. I'd say it'd be Marcelo, and then you get in the kick returns of Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, which is you have
a little bit better.
You have Roger, Chance, and Dallin at the back. I think that's scarier.
No problem with their back three. I reckon they're one of the best in the comp.
Not this year, they haven't been. I think it's been a part that's let them down.
Yeah,
They've been a little bit in and out, but I think just with Roger, you're trying to. Webby said that wingers, and Zach Lomax is the prime example. Wingers can have more of an impact than centers in this day and age.
Yeah,
Webby actually said that.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what that is like, because the Bulldogs have been really good at handling that as well this year.
Obviously, the Bulldogs are going to pump these blokes, so don't worry about it.
All the Bulldogs are $1.50 with the tab. The Warriors are $2.60. The line is 6.5. Yeah, it's not a bad bet, man. I'm going to go the start. Give me 6.5 with the Warriors.
Yeah, right.
With this lineup, I think they've been playing a lot better. No SJ, and I like the move of Roger Tuivasa-Sheck to the wing. I really do.
That's dangerous.
So the second game, West Tigers versus Storm, Saturday 5:30 p.m. at Leichhardt Oval. West Tigers, Charlie Staines comes in on the wing with Solomona Fatape moving into the centres and Brent Naden dropping out. John Bateman returns to the starting side, so Heath Mason joins the bench with Ruben Porter going to 18th man. As for the Storm, they get Pappy back after a week out with a foot injury, so Su'Afalonga reverts to the bench with winger Xavier Coates sidelined with that hamstring injury. Kane Bradley comes in the starting lineup. Maroons hooker Harry Grant is being rested again after sitting out of the Raiders game. And Remus Smith has been included as the 18th man. So I reckon we see Remus Smith.
What's up with Harry?
He had a cut, a really bad gash, maybe a little bit concussion. Yeah. Or if it's one of those cuts that can continually be opened up, maybe he opens it up. Maybe he opens up an Origin again, and then it's
going to open up.
And maybe there's a thought process where the Storm think they can get the job done against the West Tigers without Harry.
Yeah,
I'm not as confident.
Disrespect.
A little bit of disrespect. So
it's well deserved.
It is,
because the Storm's fucking going to put it on them.
Because the Storm.
Yep.
I got 12.5 at the start of the week. That line's actually come into 9.5. That must be off the back of the Harry Grant news, obviously. So the line right now is plus 9.5. For the West Tigers. I'm still going to take that. I think this game's going to be a lot closer, and I've got Adam Doohy anytime. Doohy. $3.50 anytime.
Yeah, they're going to be disappointed from last week, the Tigers. But Melbourne's Melbourne. They travel well. They don't give a shit wherever they're playing. Where are they playing?
Leichhardt.
Oh, yep. Fuck, that changes it.
Yeah.
Jesus.
They've got a really good record.
They've got a really good record there.
Yeah. Against the Storm. They won like 6 out of their 9 games historically, or something, some random stat like that.
You flip me.
Okay.
Tigers.
All right. To win?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. No, I was trying to convince you for the start, not the win.
I don't know the starts though.
Love it. All right. The last game on Saturday is the Cowboys versus Seagulls. This is going to be a cracker. 7:35 p.m. at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. For the Cowboys, Val Holmes, Murray Talangi, Tom Dearden, Ruben Cotter, Jeremiah Nanai, and Reece Robson are all back on deck. Therefore, Kuli Kefu-Fini Fuiaki, Sam McIntyre, and Harrison Edwards all moved to the bench alongside Griffin Neame. As for the Seagulls, Tom Travojevic is back, but he's in the centres with a return from hamstring.
They must have listened to us.
They have been. Seeps.
No worries, Seeps.
There's levels to this shit, baby. You know that. Tolu Kola goes to fullback. Ruben Garrick, back from concussion, goes to the other centre position. I would move Gaz and Tommy Talau. That would be my only last change for the Manly team.
Yeah.
Origin reps Daly Cherry Evans, Jake Travojevic, and Amoli Olukwatu are all back on deck as well, with Josh Alloway, who returns from suspension. So Lehigh Hopewadi, Nathan Brown, and Carl Lawton will come from the bench.
Fuck, this is
Some
going to be a hard
huge
game.
names back for both teams. A critical game for both the Cowboys to make the top 4 and the Manly Seagulls to make the top 8. And the odds are reflecting that. $1.74 favourites North Queensland, $2.10 underdogs for Manly, plus 3.5 is the start, Mace. Where you going?
Fuck. It's probably the hardest one.
Yep.
I'm going to the Cowboys.
Okay.
Yeah, just because it's up there.
Yep.
Humidity. It's going to be one of those slippery sort of the balls. You know when it's not going to rain,
No.
but the ball's like a cake.
Humidity.
So, yeah, Cowboys.
All right. I'm on Manly plus 3.5 and I'm Tommy Turbo to score any time.
Because a lot of these young kids, Dearden and that, they're playing for their origin spot. And I just think that'll bring out a little bit more, like even Nanai, Val Holmes, Taulungi, they're playing for their fucking spot. They're playing for a spot at Suncorp in a decider. That's the fucking holy grail to rugby league players.
Yeah.
So I think that in itself should get him over the line. And Ruben Cotter, he's not playing. I mean,
he's the only one that's safe.
But he still wants to fucking nail it.
I reckon all of them are like 80% safe, but a stinker could really cost them. And
Val Holmes.
If they get dusted, and I think we'll see Tommy Turbo on the left centres because Ruben Garrick has been playing predominantly right. So we could see Tommy Turbo left centre up against Val Holmes right centre.
Would you pick Tom Trebojevic on the bench for New South Wales?
Yeah.
I doubt they will.
They won't.
But, you know, they're going to be loyal, but fuck, that'd be a good option.
Yeah. I'd consider it for sure.
You know, as we said before, like, you know, we don't, you know, the 3 forwards are enough. Someone like Ola Kawatu or...
The only thing is, yeah, it could be his Manly teammate that's the one that... Because if you
I honestly don't think they'll make a change because Madge said something like, we're not going to change the squad at all, but the squad is still including Mitch Barnett. So he's in the 21, so they could easily swap that, and he's got you on a technicality, right?
Yep.
I didn't bring Tom in, but
it doesn't matter.
Mitch Barnett's in the squad.
Say whatever you got to say right now before why everyone's still available.
Yeah.
See what happens over the weekend. If anything changes, he's going to be don't worry about that. He's fucking watching this Manly game and seeing how Turbo goes.
On the bench.
Yeah, so would I. I would have had considered Nath if he was back for this game as well, but he's not. And there's going to be a play that we talked about in the last game. He has to be considered as well. Roosters versus Dragons, Sunday 2 p.m. at Allianz Stadium. Joey Manu will miss the next month after suffering 2 fractures in his hand. So the OG, Michael Jennings, is back. Lindsay Collins takes back his starting spot, so Terrell May moves to the bench, the only other change. As for the Dragons, just the one change to the side. Zach Lomax is returning after being rested last weekend.
It's a fucking good side the Roosters got.
This is an interesting game because the Roosters blew them out on Anzac Day, but the Dragons are a lot better team, and they also lost Moses Sully after like 5 minutes in that game as well.
Yeah, that fucked him. I still don't think it's going to make a difference. It's always a hard game between these two clubs. They're very evenly matched, but I just think Do
you think 13.5 is too much? Like they think Roosters are going to beat them by 2+ tries. No, I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
Be something like 26-18 or something.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like St George the way they're playing, but they just got too much class.
Yeah.
Victor Radley's been killing it, Connor Watson, and they're all playing like so they can guarantee their spot, right? Angus, Lindsay Collins is going to be angry.
And he's rested too because he didn't play as many minutes as he'd normally play with Terrell May playing big minutes recently. And
you saw Teddy as well. Teddy, look what he did last week.
Feels like they got a fucking milestone game every week, the Roosters.
What do they got now?
The proper OG is becoming the OG. He's about to surpass
Hargraves.
Hargraves will surpass Mitch Orbison in this game.
307, eh?
307.
And he's been playing in the middle and he started every game.
Crazy. Yeah. Crazy. So they're going to be fucking pumped.
Orbo probably played 250 off the bench. Seriously, like
Mr. Fix-It.
He was just Mr. Fix-It. No disrespect, but I mean, Hargraves has gone fucking 300 of the best in the middle.
Yeah,
that's just fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, Orbo would have played. You know what? That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm going to throw something. I reckon. This is without even looking. I reckon he played 150
off the bench.
Yeah, and then he started centers, back row. Fuck, he's a good player, Orbo. I was laughing because it sounded condescending.
Yeah,
but
it's not condescending. No, I just know, just comparing the difference between 300 in the middle, 300 coming off the bench, centre, Mr. Fix-It, right?
Back row.
He's probably the best, probably one of the best utilities ever.
What do you got for us, Lukey? Angus is coming off the bench? Oh, there you go. He played 87 off the bench.
Is that it? Fuck.
There you go. Right. Way better than
Take it back.
Yep.
Love you, Orbo.
Nice, Orbo. We both played with Orbo. I played 20s with Orbo and you played... I
love him, man.
Great clubman.
Great man.
Where were we? Yeah, who you going? 13.5 too much? Now that it's OG's fucking going to surpass him?
Oh, it could be. Yeah, this could be nasty now. Fuck. No, not over 30.
Yeah, same.
No, their defence is good.
All right, I'm with Zach Lomax and plus 13.5. Last game, Raiders versus Knights, and this could have some implications right at the death. Before selections, mate, KO Weeks is at fullback, Jordan Rapiner on the wing, Albert Hopewadi for the Raiders, and Adam Cook at halfback. But no one gives a shit about that because Kalyn Ponga is named to return for the Newcastle Knights. So prop Leo Thompson returns as well. He was a late withdrawal last week with an Achilles problem. Dylan Lucas was another late withdrawal who has been great for him this year as well. He's also back on deck. Phoenix Crossland concussion protocols will miss this game, so Jaden Brayley gets the start. And Fletcher Sharp has been replaced from Kalyn Ponga, but he's on the bench as cover. We talked about Queensland. Is there a spot for Kalyn Ponga for Queensland? And let's go. Let's start
if he carves up, yeah.
$1.65 Newcastle Knights with the tab. $2.25 underdogs, the Raiders at home, plus 3.5. Do you think Kalyn can have a blinder and force his way into Origin, or do you think not?
I think he can.
Yeah, so do I.
It just depends what Kalyn Ponga's back. He's done Liz Frank, you know what I mean? Can he bounce off both feet? Has he got that turn of pace where he's smoking people on the edge? If he doesn't have that, he's not going to play.
He's not as thick as he was a couple of years ago too, I think. I think he's probably dropped a little bit recently to be able to play.
Because he needs his footwork. He's not going to sit there and just run straight through blokes.
Yeah, he'd never do.
So I just want to know. I want to see how fit he is.
He's a close watch though for the weekend. Yeah, very close.
If he carves up, I'm picking him. Hopefully he doesn't.
Yeah. That'd be so cool to see Kalyn back for game 3. And imagine if New South Wales had Tommy Turbo on the bench and Queensland had Kalyn on the bench for this game. The star power just goes up even more. I think there's a world in which...
Who would you rather on the bench?
Out of those two?
Yeah.
Turbo.
Yeah.
Because Turbo can...
He can play anywhere in the back line.
Yeah. Because I can cover everything in the back line. Turbo can play 6 for me, like Kalyn can, but I've got more confidence in Turbo playing front row than I do Kalyn Ponga.
He can play front row, back row and lock.
Even though he's been banged up.
KP can play lock and hooker and then everywhere in the back line.
He's been moved to the centres already, Turbo, but if I guarantee he's not going to hear one, hey, by the way, if we lose a couple of middles and we're fucked, can you play front row?
No.
Nah.
I like those. I was very impressed with the way they started last week, Newcastle.
Yeah.
Leo Thompson was out, but I thought the Saifidi brothers were outstanding.
The Knights was super impressive. So apparently the new Peter O'Sullivan's come in. Jaden Brayley's up for grabs. Daniel Saifidi's up for grabs. Jack Hetherington's up for grabs.
Well, they need to make some hard decisions there because you got Phoenix, Crossland, Brayley, Gamble, Hastings. You know what I mean? They're on a fair bit of money, all these guys, and they're just sort of similar players.
Well, one player you didn't name there, he's my anytime try scorer. The price is right, baby. He's going back to back. We'll price $4 anytime. I'm on the Knights plus 3.5. Everyone enjoy your weekend. We will see you for the review. And remember, what are you really gambling with? And for free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858.
I promise, guys, my voice will be back next week.
And OG's voice will be back next week. Have a good weekend.
See you guys.